Alright, hello, I think we're all ready to go. Welcome to Game Jam Raylib 6.x day 3 of making this shoot 'em up. And yeah. Okay, you know what? I want to change the gun here a little bit. Let's go player system. Well, okay, let's actually do the player should have like a weapon type as well. Or maybe just a weapon. Where it could be something like we have a type and maybe a level. Yo, Penguin! How's it going, man? What is up? What is up? What is up? Let's add some different player weapons. So I'm just gonna say, well, let's see, because the thing that I wanted to have, but basically I want to have like a machine gun. Actually, well, let's do like weapon type. It's just an elam. And then we'll have level, which is so if you upgrade it, essentially, and then you can switch by, it's just a classic idea, I think, where you maybe will have like, I don't know, 3 different, this is the basic weapon type, you can upgrade it, then you switch to, or maybe this is like the basic weapon, maybe we have multiple weapons, so we'll have like, this is the base weapon, which is the machine gun, and then we'll have like the extra weapon, or the power-up weapon, or whatever, and that's gonna be that's like optional. It's just a basic shoot 'em up thing, where the upgrades or the extra weapon or power-up weapon could be like, let's say we have 3 different types of those. They each have their own, you know, style, and they can also be leveled up if you get like the same. Or we only have one. I'm thinking for controls, it's going to be pretty simple, because what I'm imagining is essentially playing this on mobile, essentially. You just move the ship around with your thumb and that's it. Like, you don't have any special abilities, you don't have any activatable abilities. You're just moving the ship around, trying to dodge enemies and bullets, picking up power-ups and stuff like that. So that is what I'm thinking. And it simplifies things a little bit, because you won't have things like, you won't be able to, let's say you level up the power-ups and you might like switch between them or something like that. It's just gonna be, you pick up a power-up, that's the power-up you have. It's kind of annoying though when you pick up the wrong one, which you didn't want. Maybe we could have okay, I'm not even sure what kind of powers we're gonna have. So I'm just gonna have one extra weapon. It's just gonna be one thing. We can also add, you know, a missile like slot as well, or something. Like, you can have multiple slots of weapons. But for now, I'm just gonna do like, we have the base weapon, and then we have one extra weapon that we can get. Okay, and so for this one, we could also say, so what do we need when we actually shoot here? This spawns one projectile. We need like velocity, which sprite. Possibly a modification, like a function that gets called. I mean, we could just have a shoot function here also. Like, we could just have, yeah, that's probably the simplest way. Like, just have a shoot function here. And we need game. We already have game. We need the position of, I guess, the player. Or the weapon, maybe? Nah. Let's just do position. It's like the base position there. Alright, let's start there. I'm gonna add the convenience function here. And we'll take out whatever we need to be position. velocity. What else? The sprite. Oops. Hello, Angry Maid, what's up? How's it going? Okay, so the sprite is going to be, I think I want something like this, except even smaller. Okay. 5739. I need to export it there as well. Going fine, not gonna lie, I feel more and more inspired from your streams to switch full to Zig for game dev. Nice. But at the same time, I'm constantly procrastinating and have a brain freeze when it comes to structure anything reasonable. Yeah, I know that feeling. I'm kind of having... Every time I sit down with this project, it's like I don't know what to add. And I just add the next thing that comes to mind or something. I don't know. I feel like I need a plan, but then... I don't know. 5739. Actually, do you take X? No, you take X. Hey Blue, what's up? What's the merge part of the game? It's the enemies can merge into like more difficult enemies. So they're basically like tier based. So an enemy is like tier 1 is the easiest enemy, tier 2 is the, you know, the next one, tier 3, tier 4, and so on. And when they merge, they become the next tier. Okay. So I'm gonna actually just gonna do the sprite over here. Because I want 2 of these. And we're gonna have left position wow. I don't really know what to put here. Maybe because you don't scale by world size or anything like that. No. So I'm gonna put maybe Sprite size. Maybe the ship can merge to the upgrade. Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's essentially gonna be like you pick up power-ups just like a normal shoot 'em up. I'm having a bigger struggle even at architectural level. Whenever I sit down to write something, it always feels off. I think that just comes with... I mean, I kind of felt the same way when I started out with Zig. And it just comes with, like, experience. I don't think you're supposed to feel confident. I don't know. I never really feel confident unless it's something that I've kind of done before. But even if I've done something before, it doesn't mean that I did it in the most optimal, most optimized, most readable way. You know, you're never gonna get the perfect code anyway. So I don't like... The thing is, like, I've realized that you don't need a perfect code base every time. Like, if you just want to be productive, just try to forget about the details. Forget about trying to make everything look nice and make everything... Like, it's good practice sometimes. It's good practice to have some parts of the code base be nice, because then it's easier to reason about what you're supposed to do with it, especially if you're gonna get back to that area later. But sometimes if it's just like a smaller thing, or yeah, sometimes it doesn't actually matter how good the code is. It only matters to you, essentially. I mean, especially if it's your own project, no one else is gonna look at it. Okay, negative size. Well, that's X. I don't know, let's just pick a number here. So you're gonna be space between over 2. And then we'll do this. But yeah, then when it comes to things like, I struggled in the start with things like, you know, what kind of allocator should I use? Do I want to have an allocator at all? Do I want to have like a stack-based project only? What I can say to that is, if you start going down the path of only trying to have things stack-based, you're eventually gonna run into, you know, it could feel good at first, but eventually you'll run into like problems. I can't really give you an example right now, but essentially, I mean, yeah, you know, dynamic arrays, depending on, you know, if you know how many items you're gonna have and so on, maybe you can do like a stack-based thing. But using an allocator, once you've learned how to use it, it just becomes way easier to write code that way, because you don't have to think about, you know, how much would you put into the stack and so on. You just make your list, append into it, and everything's fine. And you can change the backing allocator to actually use the stack as well. So yeah, there's like a lot of ways to do things. And with experience just comes, you know, you're learning more and more. Okay, this pattern fits good here, this pattern fits good here. Shoot. Oh my god. Thank you. Man, I'm so bad at noticing these things. Need to get through this blocker. So what? I mean, what? So are you trying to make something in Zig now? Is it Zig architecture that you're struggling with, or is it like programming architecture in general, or like manual memory programming, or? Game programming? Yeah, I mean, yeah, and there's like a billion different ways. I think there is just, you know, sometimes you just have to start doing something, find out, okay, this, you know, this way doesn't work like this, or you can also try to read up and things, but I feel like you get most experience by just trying to do something. And oftentimes also it's like if you try to make a project, then perhaps like a lot of times it's like a lot of things are very specific to your project, so it's going to be hard to find solutions like online to each of your questions. So it's good also there to go through and solve those problems. Okay, actually we're gonna get this sprite here. We're gonna set your tint to be orange. Surely I just plant my faithful to Vulkan and box 2D, box 3D. I think it makes sense to start small. That is what most people say, and I kind of felt like when I started out, you always misjudge how ambitious a project is gonna be. Because you have something you imagine in your head, right? And you're thinking, hey, this couldn't be that difficult, right? And then you start to program and you quickly realize that, wow, this is gonna be a lot of work. Like if it's your, you know, if it's your you know, learning phase. But then if you've done something before, of course, then you know roundabout how much time it's gonna take, and also now you have the experience of making this type of game, so you quickly can decide on an architecture, or if you want to try like a new pattern or something else. So I think it makes sense if you're starting out to start small, try to make smaller projects that has everything, and then build your way up there from there. I think it makes a lot of sense to do that, actually. I didn't actually do that when I started out, and I kind of regret that a little bit. Then again, you know, you live, you learn. And then you can also have, the thing is, like, if you start on your dream project and you're making this architecture that when you really don't really know what you're doing, and then in the end, in the end I say, but like when you trudge along the project and you come to a certain point where some decisions you made in the architecture doesn't make sense for the rest of the game. And so now all of a sudden you have to like rewrite your whole game just because this was something that you couldn't foresee. And so that's why it would be, I think it's good to get some basic like experience there first before you try to do something like that, because that's just a pain. It could be like a project killer. Okay, so Spawn project, yes. Okay, so now the player has a weapon that we can use instead. So instead of doing this, we will simply call... we'll get the player component. And we will call base weapon shoot. Okay. Now the thing is, the different weapons should have different like cooldowns. So this here needs to change as well. Like we need to store the cooldown not in like we have one cooldown here. We need to move it to the weapons. So I'm gonna take these two, move them into the weapon here. And I'm going to say that you have a cooldown. And then there's things like, you know, learning all the knowledge to be able to do things like vector maths, for example, is a very good tool to have to understand like position and distances and you know, rotation, angles, everything like that. And it really depends on what type of game you're gonna do, but and also what engine you're using. Like, but I mean, if you use, I mean, yeah. So that's the thing. Like, if you use like Box 2D and Zig, then there's gonna be ways. There's gonna be like a vector library that you're using, but you have to kind of know how to use it as well. Right, so here's the thing. We should go do this for both weapons then. So I'm gonna move you over here and actually move this over here and say that this is gonna be this plus this. And then you need to be a mutable. And you are something, but we don't care here. Okay, so now that should be good there. Cool. And so that's for the base weapon. And then we also have the extra weapon, which we don't really have a way to deal with yet, but we can also just add this check here. You know what? I mean, instead of calling shoot here, we can really just call this directly here. It doesn't make sense because we already have player component. We can call base weapon shoot directly here, and the player, we need a position, right? So we don't have the body, but we should get. And then here's gonna be extra weapon. Shoot. Okay. Get the pointer to that. There we go. I was looking to Bevy and Rust. Oh yeah, I think I heard of it. Like making tooling around it. Actually developing a game on it, though kind of uncomfortable. Okay. So wait, I don't know about the engine. Most likely just do the custom myself. Yeah, I mean, if you're running, I mean, yeah, essentially it's like if you're programming the thing and using, I mean, Raylib is kind of like, it takes you a lot of the way there. Like going into Vulkan, I mean, the thing is like Vulkan is interesting because it's like they recommend not going Vulkan if you're not building like if you are trying to build like a super optimized or super custom 3D environment thing. I mean, I don't think most people, even if you're developing a game, is probably gonna benefit too much from going into Vulkan. It's just one of those, like, I don't know. It's the new thing, or is it even that new? I don't know. But okay, so now we should be shooting our machine gun instead, or not. Okay. Yeah, but you could use like OpenGL, for example, and you'll have like, I mean, it's not as configurable, but it's gonna be more, I don't know, there's more things that is done for you, basically. Or you can use like Raylib, for example, because Raylib has 3D support. So you can if you just want to make something and it, you know, it doesn't matter, the graphics is not the most, like, the focus. You just want to try to make the game you know, run and work at all. I think choosing like a simpler way to do it, because a lot of the it would be more productive, because like many of the concepts are gonna translate, but of course there's gonna be, you know, if you're choosing Vulkan, for example, there's gonna be a lot of things. Like I did the Vulkan Vulkan like initial setup thing, and I had like super basic understanding of OpenGL. And it took me like 12 hours. Like I did one stream of 12 hours to set up, to have a working like triangle example, the basic triangle demo, working with Vulkan, with Zig. But I was following the official tutorial, which from Vulkan's like website, which I would say is not the best one, the best tutorial. There's probably better ones out there. Why are we not shooting here? We're spawning the things. We are moving them around. It should be going up. Yeah, I don't see anything. Oh, wait. It's gonna be this one, yeah. Okay, there we go. So there we go. A little more. And what I want is basically I want to increase the health of the enemies, because now we're shooting two things. So I'm gonna increase this. I'm basically gonna double. Yeah. And the question is, do you really want to have like a laser, a shooting sound every time we shoot? It's gonna have to be something that is not really annoying. Okay, what I'm thinking is, instead of having the system where you pick up power-ups at certain points, maybe it's gonna be instead the enemies are gonna drop. They're gonna drop like shards. That looks more like a mine. But the thing is, it's built up of hexagons. I don't want to have... Like, everything is a hexagon, essentially. Everything here is made up of hexagons, or it's just one hexagon. This, I mean, it's like two hexagons like this. One there and one there. Overlaying, but then this shape is more... It's a circle. It looks like it's expanding in size. I mean, it could be off, actually. It could be off like this. And then like that. We could also, actually, since we're using like scaling and you know, rotation, maybe we just make it look like this and rotate it. Because I'm thinking like rotating using let's just take this one here and we'll rotate it. Yeah. Yo, Phil, thank you, piano. Okay, so we're gonna have a I think we're gonna have like something called a shard. The shard is gonna have perhaps. I'm just gonna have a shard type. So we'll have like small, medium, or large maybe. And then value. Whoops. No, it's gonna be game. No, it's a rectangle. Actually, okay, so we'll have like actually this could be the medium one maybe. I'm gonna have... I mean, it's just gonna be this, perhaps. This is the small one. Medium. And then large. Not sure how it's gonna be. Sure, why not? Okay. $70.40. 6x3. And then I'm gonna change the tint to be green. You are over here. 77.40. 8x8. You're gonna be blue. And you're gonna be red. For reasons unknown. 87.40. 10x9. Okay, and so this you pick them up and you're gonna get, like, based on the number of shards you pick up, you're gonna power up your weapons or something like that. And then the enemy shards dropped. Now the thing is here, it could be... let's just make it deterministic here. Okay, let's do it like this. Let's just return a U size. That's the number of shards we drop. You're gonna drop like 2. Or maybe 3. I don't know. You're gonna drop... So tier 1. Drop 10. It's like equal to their health almost. Sure. Let's have like almost equal to their health or something. And... yeah, and then now when they die, they're also gonna drop the shards. I'm just gonna actually put this into here, perhaps. See, this is where we actually destroy. You know what? No. Because we have enemy hit somewhere. Hit enemy. If health is not, we do explosion and we we also want to do spawn shards. I'm gonna pass in the components. We also need the body as well. Let's just get the enemy body here. We need let's just put the position here actually. Right, so you need enemy context. Do we really need enemy? Yes, we do. Well, no, we don't need. Actually, we don't need the context. We just need the component to get the definition stuff, and then we need the thing. This doesn't matter. And shards. I'm gonna make this a var. Okay, so we have shards up. Now my idea here is that we're gonna spawn, we're gonna kind of randomize. So first we're gonna check, okay, how many large shards are gonna fit in here. I need to add a shard here though. So we have shard and then value. Well, we have the type large value. Oops. And then we're gonna say if the number of shards we want to spawn is more than or equal to large value. Actually, we could do so number of large spawned is gonna be, hey cool guy, what's up? Today is 12:35 a.m. I hear it's 21:07. Yeah, I'm trying to make this. I don't know. I'm probably not gonna make something that feels like a completed game, but you know, we'll see. I'm gonna get some kind of royalty-free music added in. I'll probably make my sound like the sound effects because that doesn't take too much time. I'm not sure if I'm gonna have how many like levels I'm gonna have or bosses or anything like that. We'll see. 9 p.m. Yes, if we're using that weird system, yes. so number of large is going to be that fits in there. It's going to be, so I'm going to have the maximum is going to be number of shards that are left, and then that's going to be divided by the large value, and we're going to floor it, which means that it's going to have the maximum amount of numbers. So this could be 0, for example, if shards is less than large value. If it's more, then we're going to have the maximum number. And then we're going to have the actual number. It's going to be like the random uint less or at most and large max. So, and then the number of shards. So now we know how many number of large shards we're going to spawn, and then number of shards is going to be negative equals number of large shards is going to be spawned later times the value of the large shards. And then we're going to basically complete this for the medium ones. So this will give us like a little bit of variance here in spawning the different, and then in there for the remainder we're gonna have number of small shards. It's just gonna be the rest of this, which could be 0, but now we should have like a variant, like, so let's say we spawn like 100, we need like 100 shards. The number of large shards are gonna be maybe from 0 to 2, and then maybe we get a bunch of medium shards. I mean, this could make it so that we're kind of spawning like 100 small shards, which could be not great though. So maybe we'll have like a threshold where we should actually, maybe we'll have like a minimum amount of large shards. So essentially, let's say the number of large shards max is like 10, let's say, then we probably want to spawn like at least 8 or something. So we're gonna allow maybe 2 large to like it's like change, you know. We're gonna allow 2 large shards being spread out into medium or small shards, let's say. So we're gonna take, so I'm gonna say n large min, and this is gonna be basically large max -2, but yeah, like this essentially. So then if it's like, if it's gonna get below 0, it's just gonna stay at 0. So it's either gonna be -2 or it's gonna be 0 if large max is 0, 1 or 2, or if it's 3 it's gonna be 1, and so on. So that's the min there. And so then we have like uint at most, but maybe we'll do a range at most instead then. And at least it's gonna be n large min. So now at most, yeah. So now it goes both from like, yeah, from this to this. Okay, and then we'll have the same for the for the medium. It's gonna be n medium max. Let's do, yeah, let's just do the same thing there. And you're gonna be int range at most min. And then the rest is just gonna be small shards. Oops. Small value. I guess we don't really care about the small value. Well, I mean, if we change the value of the small, I guess we always... It's like, because here we're kind of assuming that small shards are always 1. I think they kind of have to be. Either it's going to be 1 or something that is like divisible or something. Let's just assume it's always 1. Okay. Okay, so now we have number of large shards, number of medium shards, number of small shards that are supposed to be spawned here. And then, so what I'm thinking here is basically they're gonna spread out in some kind of area around the enemy that got destroyed here. So we are going to say that we're gonna have some kind of, well, we're gonna have to loop through the large shards. Don't really care about this. And then essentially we're gonna spawn a shard. The shard is gonna be large. And the position, we also have the position there. Okay, and then we have medium. And small. Something like that. And this is gonna be shard type. And then position. Alright. Okay. I'm just gonna refill my drink, BRB. Alright, so we'll have the thing. We'll add the body. Get the body back. Now we're going to set the velocity to be some kind of random velocity here that we're going to calculate, and then yes, and then we'll also add a shard. Actually, let's get the shard like this, because we're gonna use it. So we'll add the shard, and we'll also add the renderable. Okay, that's basically it. The random velocity. So the random velocity is gonna be like, first we want to have a random radiance here. Oops. Random float. Okay. So that's one like revolution there. And then we're just gonna do rotate R. Now this is going to be the random speed. Short speed variance plus short speed min. I'm just gonna move this up here. The variance, I don't know, 50 maybe. Short speed min is 150. I don't know. Now the thing is, like, there's no like drag in the game, but I think these shards shouldn't be because we're in space, but they shouldn't be flying out all over the place. So they should like stick to where they are. So what I'm thinking is, just for the shards, I'm gonna add a special here for the grid or the update system, where here at the end of this we're gonna check, like, if we have shard, we are also gonna apply drag. Okay. Body. Okay. So the drag is like velocity is gonna be, I think it's like scaled. Let's just try something like this. Huh? Oh. All right. Subtract. Okay. So now I think that the shards should get spawned. Are we calling this? Yes. So when we kill something, they should get spawned. Yeah, we got some shards spawning there. Cool. They seem to like almost like instantly slow down though. So let's change this a little bit. Let's do like 0.5. Actually, it should it be times delta time as well? Probably, right? Yeah, definitely has to have time based on this. Or this based on time. Okay, whoa. I mean, yeah, I really like the initial like velocity there. Maybe we need to kind of increase this though. Because it felt like they were kind of following. Maybe they. I mean, Actually, we could increase it to more than 1. You know, because it's kind of saying that it's gonna decrease velocity by 1 velocity per second, is what this is saying here. So we could actually just increase it. It's getting decreased. Yeah. Also, they should be kind of... Maybe they should also follow the background. You like the black space background? Yeah? They should probably... Okay, there we go. We got some larger ones there. I think I also want to add like some kind of shimmering effect to them as well. So we're gonna do our little trick here. And we're gonna do that. Now we're gonna go to shard. We are going to get the shimmer renderable, and essentially I'm gonna just say that it's probably just gonna 70-30. It's just shifted up 10 pixels. Yeah. Oops. But the tint is not changed, so now actually we could just return this here. Okay, and then when we draw, right, we also have a bug where the enemies are sometimes drawn on top of the background. So I'm not sure why that is happening, but we'll figure it out. Right. So here we're gonna check if we are a shard. Actually, it's kind of like this one here. Draw enemy hit. Except it's draw shard shimmer. If we don't have a shard, we don't care. Otherwise, right, there is some timing here to this. I think all of them should, maybe all of them should like shimmer at the same time. Or they could be like a sweeping effect. But based on position. So actually, yeah, renderable fade is gonna be that is going to be the shard. Actually, we need the shard. because this is like, oh, right. We get that. We don't set the source. Now the timing here we need to figure out. So okay, it could be like, let's say it's like a global reoccurring sweep that goes around the screen. So we have the position. We can base it on that. I'm thinking basically it's gonna be like an angle, like 45 degrees sweep going on over the screen. So let's say t equals 0, nothing is shimmering. T equals 1, whatever the shimmer thing is, like on the top right now, going outside the screen. And then maybe repeat at the next, like t equals 2 or something. So we need a function based on time, based on like what the ratio of where the sweep goes through the screen. So 0% is like at the bottom, out of screen. 100% is out of screen at the top. So we're gonna have like sweep ratio that is something. So that goes from 0 to 1. Then we're gonna say that based on the position, we could translate the position by taking the world. Actually, you know what? Let's just do this. Get. Oh, it's such a stupid name. I don't really know what to name this function. Get relative position. This position vector. So it essentially takes world coordinate or screen coordinate and makes it into kind of like world coordinate, except this goes from 0 to 1. So it's essentially just saying, look, getting this, subtracting world position, and then multiply world size, except not multiply but divide. Yes. Hello, Dr. Crazy. What's the plan? Just adding things as I see them. Yeah, there's no real plan, really. Well, right now I'm working on making shards, like enemy drops, like pieces that you can pick up and improve your weapon with, is the idea. So I'm trying to work on like player weapon and stuff. So we get relative, yeah, so that's like get relative position of body position. So that should now be like from 0 to 1 in both directions. Okay, now we can say that, let's see how we're gonna do this. I'm imagining like a straight line going through the screen. So it could be like if we take X and Y separately, for X, that would mean that, like, let's say X is at the center and the sweep is at the center, then we should be fully on. So we could take the distance from the sweep. Yeah, it's just moving. But then the Y also is like the Y also takes into account there. Okay, maybe we should gimp it up here. That's a new technical term. Okay, so essentially here's the screen. We have some stuff up here, we have the player, and then we have a bunch of shards here. Okay, and so what I'm thinking is if we add another layer, is that the shimmer thing is basically going to be like a gradient. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this. I'm going to do fill gradient. No? Okay. How can I change the gradient? Okay, so how do I change this? You should be black. You should be how do I change the color here? What the hell is happening? How do I get back? Here. Okay, I thought that... Okay, now we have a split. How do I change the color of this one? God damn it. Okay, I have to Google this. Wait. Shape bilinear. No? Oh, here we go. Okay, there we go. This is what I had in mind. It's just apparently very hard to do. Okay. There we go. And well, it's not really. You have to imagine that this is that it's alpha there. So this is what I imagine essentially. Rotate 90 degrees. This is gonna like move over like this. I could set you to like, yeah, sort of like this. So if you look at the bottom here, the bottom is like essentially X is just moving along here, right? So it's essentially every Y is kind of like the same function except it's phase shifted a little bit. So it's phase shifted by Y, so it comes later. So that means we could have a distance function that just subtracts Y, I guess. So it's gonna be like X negative, like X minus Y. This goes from 0 to 1. This goes from 0 to 1. This goes from 0 to 1. So this whole thing goes essentially from 0 to 1 as well. And then this also. Well, it can be negative, I guess. Yeah. Okay. But then it's fine. I wonder if this works with floating points. Oh, we got mod F. Wait. Turns integer and fractional. Floating point number is the sum of the x. Why? Well, what the hell is this? Okay, let's just try it, I guess. We're modding T. This is seconds by 2. If sweep ratio is more than 1, I guess, or equal, return. Okay. We could make like a debug test to see. I don't see anything. Let's create so we're basically gonna loop through I'm gonna make like columns and yeah, columns, I don't know, and rows. And we're gonna spawn a shard, so essentially I'm just gonna copy this. We don't need a random velocity. We don't need you. We don't need to get you. Okay. Short type is gonna be small. Position is going to be X and Y. Scaled. So actually we're gonna do this. We're gonna make another convenience function. Super stupid name, but this will take a position that goes from 0 to 1 and make it yeah, it's basically the reverse of the get relative position. Divide by size. Now we should have a bunch of shorts. And it's lagging. But now we can test this, which doesn't work. Are you called? No, you're not called. Okay. Great. Maybe that was the issue. Ratio found. Okay. Yeah, we're seeing something. But it's weird. I mean, it kind of does what I wanted to do. What if we just increase you? Okay, I think it's like goes from 1 to 0 or 0 to 1, and then it's like it stops. Yeah, well, actually, we should have some kind of absolute stuff happening here. This is actually the distance. It's wonky as all hell, but something's happening. That's kind of what I had in mind, but there's something going on with the maths here. I mean, obviously. Yeah, it's just because we do this, right? If we do 2, it's gonna keep going, yeah. This is strange. Like, this is better. But then you get the full alpha after this point. It should go back. Wait, is it this? Is it this minus? Sweet. No, it's distance to sweep ratio. I mean, I guess we could try. And then abs. I'm just trying different random things now. Now we're back to this. Sweep ratio, negative x, right? That makes sense. Except when it goes above, it shall go back down and not... Wait, should it be this? Distance, and then actually this is like one negative. Oh yeah. I'm not sure about the why, but then one negative absolute makes a lot of sense. Whoa. Okay, I did not expect that shape. So let's put this in here. Okay. And now we wanted to kind of start further back. So we could like do negative 0.5 maybe. Negative 2. Okay. There we go. Yes, but we needed to continue. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna be happy with that. Now let's go back here and remove all these shorts. Let's see how it looks. Yeah, thank you, Dr. Crazy. I mean, it's a little bit slow, maybe. I was imagining faster, but it does, you know, do the job. Maybe. So we could, I guess we could multiply t by time speed or factor. even faster. Maybe even faster than that. Okay, cool. That's actually pretty good. We're just gonna try 6. And also I want there's gonna be more like a pause in between as well. Now it just feels like it's an alarm going off here. Okay. A pause in between should be just increasing this. So let's do like time like 8 maybe. Cool. All right. Now it feels like something you should pick up, right? Maybe? I don't know. Okay, so let's make it so that you can pick it up. Pick it up. Pick it up. Handling death, shooting. Weapons. What? Oh, right. Function. Player is an entity. Okay. Okay, so let's see. I want Okay. Actually, we could. No. What did I want to do before I went in here? I wanted to pick them up, right? Pick up shards. But we don't need self. Right. So. I'm gonna hoover up shorts. Now, I'm not gonna worry about checking like collisions. Hang on a sec. Like checking rectangles, we could probably just check distance against, but it's gonna be a brute force. We could check distance if the distance is like, and we could make like a Hoover effect. So if so let's go through. Let's make an iterator. Oh, actually, yeah. Okay, and then we'll get the distance. It's gonna be position, distance. Now let's use the squared because it's an easier calculation. To player, well, we need the player body as well. Okay. Now we're gonna say if let's do like min Hoover distance. Is it worth to use a quad tree? Probably not. I mean, I actually have a quad tree implementation in Zig that I made, but I think it's gonna require some amount of changing. Well, actually, it is kinda generic, actually. But it's probably not that. I mean, I think what I'm gonna do is, if I come to the conclusion that we need to optimize this, then I'm gonna try and do something with the grid spatial thing instead. But you could use a quad tree. It's actually pretty feasible here, I think. But yeah, I'm gonna try and use something with the grid spatial instead. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say that the min distance for starting Hoover is like, well, and this is squared, so we have to take like the distance squared. So it's gonna be like I don't know. It's gonna be in pixels. So let's set to like 50. Whatever, let's square it correctly here. So that's the min distance. It's also then, yeah. So at 50 pixels, we're gonna start to hover, and the speed will also determine. So okay, so what we're gonna do first here is I want to check like if the distance is in pickup distance. If it's within pickup distance, we just pick it up. So we destroy the thing. We will take player component shorts plus equals. Yeah, and we get the short component. Holy shit. What the fuck is this? Okay, 1 second here. Okay, there we go. I pressed some weird key combination there in West term or something. I don't know. Anyway, short is gonna be equal to context get short, and then you're gonna be equal to value plus equal to value. And there's probably other things going to happen, like playing a sound, picking up things, or maybe some kind of animation. I don't know. But let's do that. And then, so we need to define the pickup distance as well. And we're going to take like 5 pixels. So that's going to be 25. It's 5 by 5. 5 times 5. Okay. Otherwise, we're going to have the hover speed is going to be like how much. So it's going to be like min distance minus distance, because we know now that the distance, actually we don't know if the distance is larger, but we're, or smaller, I mean, but we're gonna say that, okay, well, let's make these F32s so we don't read, there's no weird stuff going on. Okay, so this might be negative, which means that, or we can just do an if here, because we probably want to do that anyway. If distance is more than min hover distance, we continue as well. Okay, but otherwise, now we know that distance should be equal or less than hover distance, so this should be from 0 to 50, or 50 squared. So we're calculating the hover speed based on that. So hover speed will be this, and then over min hover distance, which kind of means it's kind of like gravity because it's distance squared, right? But anyway, that's the speed. And now we're gonna create some velocity thing here. So velocity is equal to let's do init hover speed 0, pointing to the right, the default direction, and then we're gonna rotate position, and then I think it's like line angle or angle 2 or something. Calculate angle from 2 vectors. calculate angle defined by two vectors line. By a two vectors line. I'm not sure what the difference is of these functions. I mean, what you also could do is you could take the player body position, subtract body position. Now we have the relative position from... Actually, this is from player to... Hang on. The player's there, body's there. We take you, subtract you. Now we're pointing... Now we get that arrow that goes from player to body. This should be the other way around. Yeah. Okay. Now we get the relative position from the shard to the player. And if we just take this by velocity, it's just going to mean that it's going to move this distance in 1 second. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna normalize, and then I'm gonna scale by the hover speed. So essentially we're doing the subtract to get the kind of direction to the player, and then we normalize it, which makes it so that the magnitude of the length of the vector becomes 1, and then we scale it by hover speed to get the correct speed that we want to set there, which is based on the distance. That's one way of doing it. Okay, so that will kind of hover the things towards the player, as well as pick it up if it's close enough, and it's going to increase the number of shards. Now, another thing that I want to do is I want to draw the HUD. Oh, lives, that's right. And I want to draw shards. So we can see that we're actually picking up things. I mean, okay, we are picking them up, but the hover thing does not work. It's actually moving away. Wait, it might be that it is working, but the drag is slowing it down. So actually, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna disable the drag if we're currently like in the player's vicinity. So enable drag is true. Oops. However, if we're doing this, if this is happening, then we want to enable drag is true. Otherwise, if we get down here, that means we're hovering, so we disable the drag. And then if we go up here, we only want to apply the drag if the shard has it enabled. Okay. We could also try to just increase Wait. It seems like it's the other way around. It seems like the more distance we have, the more it drags. Wait. Distance is more... did I remove the continue here? And also this probably... we probably need to reverse this here. Wait. Yeah. Okay, cool. However, we also want to increase this. So this is actually the hover speed. This is like the hover ratio. And then hover speed is going to be hover ratio times some type of speed factor. So let's say it's like right up in our face there and going, I don't know how fast it's gonna go there. Like let's say 500. Because it was going like 1 pixel per second right before this. Okay, we're they're trying to get away. So we shouldn't do this. No, yeah. Wait. It's like teasing instead. Wait, so this was the other way around. I'm confused. But yeah, okay, this was the other way around here. Okay, there we go. Oh, we're still shooting. Right, so I have to fix that. Cool. Cool, okay. Now, I want to decrease you. Yeah. This is better. Okay. Cool. So we have that. Now the thing is, like, I'm not sure what to do with these charts, but we have them. Also, I wanted to kind of have them spin as well. So, first of all, the angular velocity is also going to be a drag, have a drag effect. Oh. Okay. And then when we spawn a shard, we're gonna set angular velocity. Let's just set it to random speed, why not? Probably need to scale it somehow. So they should spin crazy now. Or maybe not. Oh, because the okay. Wait. I think I know what the issue is. It might be because this, yeah, it's this rotation is like not based on radians, it's based on angle, on like degrees. So you have to like do this to make it work. Yeah. That actually looks pretty cool. Also, like, if a shard goes like out of the screen, I'm not sure if they are supposed to, if I wanna make them like stay on in the screen. Ah, whatever. Okay. Okay, so what now? I mean, we added the shards. We have potentially multiple player weapons we can make. I mean, we could maybe. I'm just gonna say that the number of shards you collect will just increase the player weapon. And let's say you collect maybe 100 shards, it's gonna upgrade. It's just gonna upgrade the player weapon. So we have like machine gun. Let's have cooldown based on also the level. So one second. So if the level is 0, it's gonna be this. Let's do, I don't know what the max level should be. Let's do something like this. We have 3 levels for now. Like, I don't know if the shards are gonna get expended. It's not like you could have something like there's like in between levels there's a shop where you can buy things or something like that. But also, or maybe there's just one of these, like you get 3 random upgrades and you can pick between one of them or something like that, like a roguelite. also have the level here. Because I'm thinking for the machine gun, levels 1 is actually not gonna spawn 2. It's actually gonna spawn 1. So we're gonna switch on level. And we're gonna do like machine gun, shoot 1. Except you're gonna be 2. I could make this a generic function, takes any number, but I'm just gonna have this very specific. Okay, so the second upgrade is also gonna shoot 2, but it's gonna be like faster or something. So here, you're just gonna be positioned. There we go. All right. And let's do upgrade. I'm just gonna do like after you've selected, like, okay, let's do it like this. Some shooters have like, if you die, you go back to 0. Like you go back to your original weapon, shitty weapon, and you have to build yourself up again. Which is kind of, you know, if you're late in the game, you're basically screwed. So it essentially becomes Iron Man at that point, or hardcore or whatever. I'm not sure exactly how I'm gonna do this, but let's just say that that's how we do it, just to decide on something. And then essentially then shards will also be reset, because shards will kind of, the number of shards will determine the level of your weapon. So level by shards, it's essentially gonna be, so here's our shards, and it's gonna give us a level. And if we have the machine gun, and we have well, and then here we're gonna say if shards is more than, so from 0 to 100 is gonna be level 0. From 100 to 200, or before 200, is going to be level 2, or level 1, level 2, and between 200 and 300, it's going to be level 3. Well, after level 2, actually, so then if it's more than or equal to 200, we're going to return level 2, which is level 3, because it's 0 indexed. And so essentially, and then otherwise return 0. So we start out at 0, and then we go to 1, and then 2. Okay. So you kind of get up back in the saddle pretty quickly, but you do have to kill enemies and get their things. Okay, and then so let's also add this somewhere. And then I guess in the player system we simply, during this update here, or we could put it here, update weapons, we could just say that play component base weapon level is equal to level by shorts, play component shorts. So essentially every frame we're just checking, like, should we upgrade it? Okay, then we just set the level based on the short. So this will also downgrade, in fact, as well. And here we can do the same thing for the extra weapon if we are gonna have that. I'm not sure, but it's a pretty simple implementation there. So I'm just gonna add it there as well. Okay. Actually, we can also do like update weapon, like singular weapon, and we get the weapon here. And that's essentially what we're gonna do here, is just weapon, and then we need player components. Right. There we go. Okay, so this should do it. Like, we should be upgrading our weapon now based on, so we started with this one shot thing. And we're getting these shards. Okay. I mean, it immediately became a lot more challenging. Can't kill both. Can I even get 100 shards? How did I get so many shards before? Also, that was the end of the level. Cool, the magnetic effect on this. Yeah. I mean, I'm basically taking already existing concepts from existing games, like from my experience. Because I do remember there's a game that has kind of had... I'm not sure about the Hoover effect, though. Well, maybe it has. Probably. But there definitely are games, like shoot 'em ups, that has like the same idea where enemies drop a bunch of shit and you pick them up. And that's basically how you, like, you know, progress. So you kind of have to pick them up if you want to be efficient. But I think also they kind of have a challenge where I think if you let them be, I don't remember. Maybe we'll do so that maybe we can do it so that the shards will move down with the level. I don't know. Or maybe they should just stay in place. It's kind of trick, like a trick if you kill the enemy while it's very close to you. You can essentially hoover in everything at once. Okay, I need to fix when you die. You shouldn't shoot. No. I don't know, maybe they should drop more shards. Because it's kind of hard to actually get an upgrade. Or maybe lower the upgrade threshold. What? Okay. Wait. This doesn't look correct. Oh, you know what? Because the waves are defined in the system. The system is not reset. I'm not sure about the background though. Maybe we should leave the background intact. Destroy all entities except for the backgrounds. Maybe. Or we need to do the setup again. Setup systems. Destroy setup entities. Setup systems. Okay. Well, the background still... I mean, it might have been a random... You know what, whatever. It's gonna be a bug. Pick your battles. Okay. We could do for like lives and shorts, we could do, instead of printing them, we could have we could draw. I think. Well, I mean, everything is a hexagon, so it's gonna be hard to tell what is a life and what is a shard. I guess it like it can be the same color as the player. They can give it away. So 7684, 5 by 11. And draw at position. Set tint. It's going to be the same as the player, which is red. I'm just going to have to hard code that. Cursor we don't have, right? So let's make a cursor. It's gonna be here. So if we look at this now, we should see the thing at the top. Yeah. But we need to move it down a little bit. So it's going to be like y plus equals y that's tiny. We could also do wait, this is the hub, so it's not actually zoom. Is it zoomed in? I think it's zoomed in. Yeah. Okay. Not sure how many shorts I have. It's not going to be enough anyway. Okay, cool. I mean, yeah, that should be fine. We could also put it center top left. That doesn't make sense. World, I mean, it's just world top left. Don't care about size. Actually, we could just return get absolute. 0, 0. All right. Okay. I'm gonna say, like, the background, I want the background to be more muted, I think. At least for like the stores and stuff. Also, they could have like a random color. So we'll have like, we could have like a list of colors, or we could just make it random. We could just return actually, what are you? U8? Okay, and a random alpha. It's gonna be for 1 0 times store alpha variance plus store alpha gain. Let's do 0.5 or something. Min is 0.3 maybe. The thing is, I wish I would know what type it was. Well, we could get the index. Store galaxy planet. So I don't want to do this for the planets. So essentially, if types I is equal or is not equal to planet, then we're gonna do this. Okay. Also, the Hoover effect should not be happening if we're dead. Okay, maybe we need like star color variance, star color min. So variance, I don't know, 100, min, like they should have low min because they shouldn't force, yeah, that's gonna determine the color. The variance is determining the ceiling. So now they should be darker and not as bright. Oh, right. Because this gives us from 0 to 255. So that doesn't work. We could do range, or we could do at most. No, this doesn't work. It has to be like a float. No, wait, we can do range. From min to depth. Or less than. Yeah. Okay, they're very dark now. I mean, maybe... Is there a way... We could do like this, from HSV maybe? The hue will be like random. Yeah, let's do that instead. So hue is gonna be a random float. Then we'll have saturation is like how much color. I guess that could also be a random float. And then the value is like the, I think, kind of like the brightness. A hue is 0 to 360. Okay. Was there anything else we could use here? Fade, contrast, brightness. Yeah, I think value is like sort of brightness. I'm not sure though. But this would be like star brightness variance plus star brightness min. So let's change you from color to brightness. And you're gonna be point, I don't know, let's do this. Let's do the same as alpha. Maybe we'll remove alpha actually. Maybe we'll just say it's 1. Yeah. Alright. It should be good enough. I'm not sure how this like looks on your end. But when I play it, this is fine. Okay, so great. Now we have so I did these kind of weapons types here. We couldn't take these, have them as the kind of the machine gun. So I'm gonna take this thing here. And we're gonna say let's go to create player. I'm gonna create a weapon context. You are gonna have a body. Doesn't matter where it is because it's gonna have a relative position to the player, and the offset I'm just gonna put 0, 0 for now. Destroy will kind of destroy true. Okay, and then we're also gonna add a renderable, so game sprite. This is gonna be this one, 7655, 714. Okay, and then I'm also gonna get this out, set the tint to red. Draw layer should actually be player +1 because it should be drawn on top of the player. No. Okay. So there's our little weapon there. Let's see if that actually works now. We should get like a weapon in the center, and we don't. Okay. I mean, there could be a thing with the draw layers that the draw layers are simply, it doesn't work. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change the offset to be like, I don't know, 64 over. See if it actually shows up at all. Because, yeah, so there we go. There's our weapon there. Maybe it shouldn't be red, actually. Maybe it should be like orange or white or something. Not sure. But yeah, the draw layer thing does not work. I probably need to fix this because otherwise this won't really work here. So the way we do it here is that every renderable has a draw layer. So it's essentially a number. If it's 0, it means you're drawn first. If it's 1, you're drawn after 0. If it's 2, you're drawn after 1, and so on. So first we take all of our renderables, we sort them using an array hash map here. The key is the layer, and then we map that to a list of entities that are supposed to be associated with this layer. So every entity that is in a layer is now stored in this hash map, sorted by the key. We also sort the keys themselves to like be ascending, and then we make it so that we can use this layer map afterwards. Because if you change this manually, you have to call like reindex on it. And then we loop through here, and I've checked that the order of the keys are correct. So we do start from 0, and then we go to 1 and 2 and 3 and so forth in this for loop. But we still don't, it's still not drawn in the correct way. So there could be that the initialization of the things are not correct. For example, if we go to background, now all of the background stuff should be spawned at layer 0, which is this one here, your 0. So those should be like drawn first, essentially. And that is added to the background star and everything. Excuse me. But still doesn't seem to work. When we do the setup, we use the same function to spawn a thing, which uses this function to get us the sprite, which sets the draw layer here. So I'm not sure why things are not working, because the enemies are drawn on top of the things. And this function is spawning the enemies. We set the draw layer to enemy here, which should be 1. Yeah. And that is actually a pointer, so that is actually correct there, yes. You know what? You're not a pointer, but you're not stored in the ECS system yet. So we're actually modifying a local copy that we then return, so that's fine. And yeah, this is the function that should spawn all enemies, but yeah, that still doesn't work. The player is the only one that seems to work. Like, the player has the draw layer, it's always drawn on top of other things. I mean, maybe that has nothing to do with draw layers, just because it's also drawn on top of the weapon. So maybe there's an issue there. I mean, what we also could do, since we know that all layers are essentially just going to be 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. Well, we could like loop through all of those and just go through all renderables 4 times, essentially. It's not going to be very efficient. I mean, this goes through them once to store them in a hash map, and then goes through them one more time. Although we do sort as well, so you could kind of count that as well and reindex. So we're kind of going through, but it is not dependent on the number of layers. If you don't count like allocating a new list. Why is this not working? Because this actually works. Like, this goes through each layer. This is why I'm so confused. It goes through it like in an ascending order. I mean, there might be some issues then with this re-indexing here. You know what? I'm just gonna do the super naive thing, and I'm gonna get rid of this. Get this one here. We're going to just loop through this n number of times. So n layers is gonna be 4. We have 0, 1, 2, and 3. And we're gonna just loop through them. Layer. We are going to loop through this. I'm gonna reset it just in case. And we're gonna get the renderable. Now, if the layer is not equal to the current layer, we don't draw it. Otherwise, we're gonna draw the renderable. And there you go. A lot simpler implementation, but I'm not gonna do any excuses there. Okay. I mean, we might run into issues if we're gonna have a lot of entities, but I don't think that's gonna be the case. Yeah, this just calls the thing. Yeah. Okay, let's see if this works now. And if something doesn't have any of these layers, it's simply not going to be drawn. It's a function. Okay. I'm looking at the enemies and seeing if they're drawn on top of or behind the stars. It's kind of hard to tell. It's going to be easier with the blue one. Oops. except the blue one kind of dodges every star there. I think I saw it go over. Okay, let's do the weapon now. Let's change the weapon to be on the player. Okay, there we go. I mean, it kind of actually fits on top of the player. But no, I wanted it to be like in the front. So we'll do like something like this. Maybe a little bit less. Okay, essentially that. I'm gonna change the color. Let's change the color to sky blue. Sure. Let's utilize this built-in color here. Okay. Cool. Also, I'm not sure why the player bullets are like red. They're supposed to be orange. It's kind of hard to tell. Like, what if we change this to green? Because they look red. Maybe it's an illusion. Okay, so apparently they were orange. What if we changed them to sky blue? Matching the gun there. Oh, okay. The gun is drawn with the player. We're gonna get like relative position. We're gonna get if. Well, we're basically gonna copy this. Set context is now anchor. So either you are the player or you're anchored to the player. We're not gonna draw you. Okay. Great. All right. Cool. And that's gonna be everything I have time for today, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, we have kind of like a basic thing going on. I want to try the upgrade as well. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lower the requirements here. Let's do like 10, 20 shards. Also, we need like weapon sprite. And that's this one. The first one, 76, 55, 55, 55. Okay. Then we have level 1 or level 2. It's this one, 59, 59, 55, 13, 14. Let's just pick this for level 3, why not? 43, 55, 13, 14. Cool. And let's go to player system. We're also going to update this is the thing. There's no thing for this. The weapon here. Maybe we'll say that the player component has a link back to this weapon entity. So I will go to player component, weapon context. I'm gonna set this to undefined for now. And here, player component, weapon context equals to weapon context. Okay, because now we can say that player component, weapon context, get renderable okay, and then we can set this to be player component or weapon dot, and we need this thing here. Where are we? Weapon sprite. Okay. So now the sprite should be updated with whatever weapon we have, or I mean the level and the weapon and stuff. This gives us a renderable. All right. So now it disappears. for some reason. $76.55. 742. That seems correct. Hang on. Let's also take, well, let's do it here, I guess. Let's do sprite draw layer equals layer plus 1. And no, yeah, that's it. And then we can also provide like a color tint. Now it's gonna go back to white, or whatever. I can fix that later. Okay, there we go. Now let's see if we can upgrade the weapon. We need to collect 10 shards. And there we go, we got it upgraded. Cool. And there's upgrade number 2, which only shoots 2, but it's faster. Okay, I noticed at that time the enemy actually dropped like more shards than they should. I mean, that could be a bug, or I mean, it could be a feature. It's a bug that's a feature, essentially. Okay, but that's gonna be it for this time. So thank you very much for joining and watching me, and let's see how far we will get with this one. I'm not sure exactly what the plan is. I mean, I only have, this was day 3. And the last day is like 12, so we have like 1, 2, 3 days left basically, and yeah, we'll see. But yeah, thank you very much. See you later. Have a nice day. Let's raid at Y4 Spur. Okay, sure, why not? Let me fix that here. Y4. All right, let's go. All right, see ya.